welcome back to the Nevahdren. I am your host and talker and podcaster, Rack 113. Just wanted to let you know, here I am again, here for our talk. Hope to take three. Hey guys, and welcome back to the Nevahdren. I am your host and talker and podcaster, Rack 113. Just want to thank you all for coming by, listening. Try different things, so if I sound a little different than last time, like I said, doing the whole trial and error thing, seeing, different setups, see if this mic works a little better than that one. I've tested things out before, but, this is one I'm wanting to just go ahead. You always find new and different things to change as you go along. I hope at some point I get to the point where I'll have some spending money and get myself some mics and things like that. And like I said, all of first ones I'm probably gonna fly solo. Some of these episodes, and then hopefully I can build up at least a handful of people, because I want to have some guests on and give them, have some people to hear them out, that kind of thing. I don't want not that friends would mind. They probably just want to sit down and shoot the shit with me, because we haven't seen each other for a while or something. But I'd like to give them an audience, especially if they have something to promote. Especially like artists or actors or musicians wanted to promote a show or something, that kind of thing. So I would love to kind of give back to some friends and so forth and so on. So pardon me, till I get my footing. But if you listen to the last podcast, the last episode and this one, and you see some potential in there, thank you so much. And then hopefully we go up from here. Today's topic, I wrote little notes. I think that would help. So I just jotted down some things that I think would be kind of kind of interesting. Again, I am mostly talking off of the top of my head. I had some thoughts all jumbled up, but this is actually my take three. Take one, I forgot to turn on the camera, and I'll start recording on that. Then take two, I just kind of lost my train of thought, and here we are now. So, all right, enough of that shit. All right. I do plan on having some topics for the episodes to kind of start off with. It can go off on tangents from there, but I was thinking that my first topic would be about documentaries. It's because me and my girl just it's something that we enjoy, and we stay at home, and then we'll flip through. So sometimes I'll show her a documentary that I know, and she'll show me one that she knows that is like a favorite. And then one of the things that we really like doing a lot too is just kind of going through something like Hulu or Netflix and Amazon or even YouTube, and just coming, just typing in documentaries and just kind of flipping through and finding something that catches your eye. And whether it's good or bad, we end up watching it. Hold on a second. Take a sip here. Sorry. So anyway, so let's see. So some of my favorite topics, documentaries. Lost in La Mancha. That's definitely one of my favorites. I haven't seen it in a while, and I think I might be bringing that up and maybe watch it tonight or something. Little thing about that. Lost in La Mancha is about Terry Gilliam, who did like movies such as Brazil. He's a big part of Monty Python, and he did like Time Bandits. And he was highly regarded. And talked about him like he's not around anymore. He is highly regarded, and he's like a legend as a director and things like that. And now for some reason, everyone says that trying to make a movie about Don Quixote is cursed. There's been a lot of stories that people have tried, and it's not like movies haven't been made or blurbs or something about it, or an episode or something or that kind of thing. Like, they haven't been made, but it's just been followed by a lot of bad luck, I guess you could say. So Lost in La Mancha is kind of about them trying to him trying to make a movie about Don Quixote, and they just had a crew that was going to kind of do a behind the scenes. They were just filming kind of like a behind the scenes kind of thing that maybe for like a DVD extra or something like that, or some kind of extra or making of, kind of thing. But it captured all the shit that they encountered, the bad luck, that they were like, fuck it, we can make a documentary out of how this just went to hell. And they did. And it was a pretty well received, pretty well known documentary. So Lost in La Mancha is definitely one of my favorites. Another one is I believe it was I'm sorry, I want to give the right information. I like if there's anything that I find that like I misspoke or gave the wrong title or something, I'll put it in some kind of notes or something, or maybe I'll record a little blurb or something. So another one is One Day in September. That one's definitely one of my favorites. That one was during the Olympic Games in Munich, and I believe it was back in 1972. I believe it was, and it was about Germany was trying to shake off, the events of World War II and feelings people had towards like Germany and that kind of thing, and they finally got the Olympics, and they were like, we want to show the world that, hey, let's wash our memories of World War II, and this is the new improved. And a terrorist group kind of infiltrated and held an Israeli, I want to say, wrestling team. It was various people, and I know there was like a wrestler, that kind of thing. They invaded, and they held them hostage, and no one was prepared for this because hey, it's the Olympics. It's everyone's here to do sports and enjoy the 2 weeks of competition and these athletes from all over the world coming together, and then this happens. It was it's definitely it's kind of a must see. It's kind of it's a sad story, but it's definitely one to see. And then I think one more to top it off my list of favorite documentaries. Paradise Lost. That was definitely that one's definitely a heavy hitter. It was kind of an early, what do you call it? Maybe an early, what's the word I'm looking for? It was kind of innocent people that were arrested and thrown in jail for many, many years. And there's 3 documentaries that kind of followed them. It was kind of like an earlier making a murderer on Netflix. Sorry, if that sounded tongue-tied. Making a murderer on Netflix. It's definitely it's in the same vein, but this was like man. Hold on, let me see here. Pulling up my doing some research here. I want to make sure I give the right information as possible. This kind of happened back in I just had a year here. Don't quite have a year. Sorry. Yeah, it was called Paradise Lost, and I think there was a total of like 3 films. They went to jail for a very long time, and they were just kids at the time. Well, let me. Sorry, I was distracted here trying to pull up some proper information. So there's these 2 boys, I guess. 2 little boys that were kind of found, like in this creek, like naked and I just want to see if they were let's see here. Yeah, it looked like this happened back in 1993, 94. These 2 boys were just kind of found naked and just like kind of left it in this, and left it in this creek, and it was horrific just because it was like in kind of this small town, and the first suspects or people that everyone kind of looked at and pointed their fingers to were these 3 boys. And because they were a little different, the one that they found that was the leader, Eccles. I want to make sure I give you the proper thing. Eccles, and he was a goth kid, and everyone assumed the worst and went straight to they're goth, they're Satanist, they're into satanic worship, and then they must have done it. And back in the 90s, I think 80s, 90s, everyone was that was kind of the go-to when they would find somebody kind of murdered or in the woods or that kind of thing, that almost automatically the first thing was, satanic ritual, Satan worshippers. It's the first thing that popped into people's minds were going after the goth kids or the ones that look different or anything like that. Of course, they as like I said, they found the leader. Of course, his name has to be Damien. It was just unfortunate. Damien Eccles. Jason Baldwin and Jesse Miskelly, and they were teenagers themselves. They were kids themselves, you know. And okay, I'm sorry. Again, see, I just want to give proper information. So it was 3 boys. There were 3 second graders that were found murdered. And like I said, they were. It was Steve Branch, Christopher Byer. Oh yes, I remember that name, and Michael Moore. No relation, of course, to the director in any way, shape, or form. And yes, they were found in a very brutal. They were brutally murdered in a wooded area called Robin Hood Hills. They were hogtied, sexually mutilated. Yes, I remember that, and physically assaulted before being killed. Just to let you know my source right now. It's at oxygen.com. I am kind of going with this just because I've seen the documentaries and did my research, and so far this is accurate from things that that I have gone over and read myself. So yeah, at the time, Damien Echols was 18, Jason Baldwin 16, and Jesse Miskelly 17. And this was part of, they were in kind of a Bible Belt kind of town. And I'm so sorry. I was just going to give a little synopsis, but turning this into a very long kind of documentary speak. Anyway, they were pretty much convicted pretty much immediately. But the thing was, when they showed the footage of like the courtroom, that kind of thing, Damien Echols, did kind of prove to be kind of a leader, because he was very charismatic, and he held up his own, and he just seemed very smart, and they just held on to that they were innocent, and there was a lot of evidence that showed that they were. But just because that they were different, they spent a lot of time in jail, and I think it was at least 10 years plus. There's actually a lot more. If it was, if they conducted it now with different, investigation techniques and DNA and just outright better policing. I'm not saying that it was bad at the time. I'm saying now with advancements and things like that, it's been plenty of years that they were able to prove that that they were innocent, and that someone else should have been looked at. So anyway, how they had it kind of ended. No, I kind of want to give anything away now. You know what? I'm going to stop right there. I highly recommend it. All 3 movies. If you were a fan or are a fan of making a murderer, this is right up your alley. You'll find this. You'll find this fascinating. It was really good. I might actually watch it tonight, or at least start, or something like that. And then kind of the one that I wanted to talk about today was it was a short documentary. It wasn't kind of released in theaters. I think this was just made and straight to saw it on Amazon Prime. I think it was kind of straight to video, as they say. I forgot the name of it. I think it was just the victim's name. It was called Allison. And first off, this story is about Allison Botha. It's like Botha, and she suffered a horrific crime in South Africa. And well, first off, let me just say, the documentary, it tells you the story. It wasn't the best done from making standpoints but maybe from the way other documentaries are made, and then this was kind of, I think this was kind of made more in a I don't want to say positive light, because this crime was just insane, but I think she had a lot of involvement, and no, I guess by me saying that, she's a survivor of this. Well, anyway, so it's a story about the crime that was done to her, which she was coming home late, after hanging out with some friends, and guy jumps into her car, says he's not going to hurt her, that kind of thing. They drive around, they pick up his buddy, and they took her to a secluded area, rape her, and stab her so many times that she was pretty much disemboweled and nearly decapitated, and they left her to die. Now the thing is, they were escalating in their attacks. I believe that they, I can't remember. I think that they tried to attack other women, but they kind of fought harder and fought back. And then I think they did rape another woman, but they kind of told her not to tell it, not to go to the authorities, but she did. So they kind of felt that they had to, that the next time that they did it, that they had to, kill their next victim. And well, they tried. They tried. And this poor girl had this, will to want to live, that she somehow survived this. Again, I don't want to give too much away, but me and my girl were talking about this, and we're just kind of thinking it just was one of those fluke kind of things, or one of those things that it just missed all the right areas, and I think that they tried to make it so that she couldn't, like cutting someone's throat, but for some reason it cut cleanly and gave like an airway that she was able to breathe. So it was kind of like those things where it like missed all the major arteries. She was able to breathe through this hole in her neck, and all these things put together, and she survived. And she went through a hard time. I mean, again, not trying to give too much away. She survived. And doctors put her back together. I think one of the things I wanted to point out, without again giving out too much, is that they weren't really I guess the authorities, the policies and things like that, and they were not really victim friendly. I think there was one point where she was talking about how she had to. They showed her the pictures, but she still had like the tubes and things like that. That she pointed to the pictures, like, it's not like she was like, and barely alive. I mean, she was at a point where she was okay. I mean, for the most part, she's still in the hospital, but where she pointed out that these are the guys right here, but how they were like, we think it would be better if you vocalized it. We think it would be better if, there'd be a lot more guilt. I don't know. There'd be a lot more power to it if you actually, vocalized their names. And of course, I mean, she was like, no, I want these guys. I do this to pull this stuff out of my throat and these tubes and let me vocalize it. And so she did. I mean, who would even think about that now? Like in America, there's a victim who's been raped and left for dead, and they, kind of like in America, they kind of like, give a little head nod, and it's like, okay, that's the proof that we need. That's all we need. And then I think there's another point in the documentary where she had to actually kind of not confront them, but it was like the kind of one-way glass, and then they want you to be sure that you pick these guys out, and these guys practically admitted to it. They knew that they were caught when they found out that she survived, but I felt like they kind of put her through hell, and then I think the worst part about this is they were given, you know what? Again, let me stop here. Again, if you want to see it, I believe the documentary is called Allison. And it's something. And again, I found this on Amazon. Sorry about that. This was like on Amazon Video. And if you have Amazon Prime, they've got a shitload of documentaries to watch. Let's see. Let's see here. Now, what I was curious about was, how was this not a bigger story? Yes, it's just called Allison. How is this not a bigger story? Is my wondering. We hear lesser stories, and we have on Investigation ID. I watched that, like, I watched the crap out of that channel. But it's not a much bigger story. I mean, this woman survived, nearly decapitated, and disemboweled, where she kind of had to, or else she had to scoop up her insides, and try to go for help. I mean, how is this not a story? I mean, yeah. I'm surprised that this story hasn't caught on. I mean, she did survive. She became a motivational speaker, which kind of like this. I mean, talking is just, it's very therapeutic. So for her, it was therapeutic, and she went ahead and, like I said, it's not the best documentary I've ever seen, but the story definitely maybe go down some rabbit holes and want to know more. So if you do, take a peek at the documentary. It's like an hour. Or if you just kind of want to look her up, she's Alison Botha. B as in boy, Otha. So yeah. Instead we have like asshole shit stories going on right now of like a Jussie Smollett and then R. Kelly. Yeah, I've said it before, or I have mentioned it here and there, but if not, I'm from Chicago, and the Empire thing in Chicago, R. Kelly getting arrested in Chicago. I was like, it's been a busy week. It's been a busy week here. But aside from bullshit like that, I love this city with all my heart. Now, with the Jussie Smollett thing, I read an article today where people are like, "Oh, how did you catch them so quickly?" and blah blah blah. And there's so many unsolved crimes, and you spent a lot of manpower. Well, why did it in that voice? I don't know. Well, the thing is, it was more publicized. I am just so one thing that you know about me is that I'm in the middle. I definitely will listen to people. I know the way that I lean. But it doesn't stop me from listening to other points of view, and as long as they're proper, interesting conversations, and not just I like this and I like that and blah blah blah. They don't go together and fight. No, I could see your points of view. See my points of view, and So in this particular instance, I'm definitely on the side of the police. It's don't make it sound like they, cops are like oh, we don't care, blah blah blah. Someone got hurt. We'll send one guy there and we'll have him do it by himself. And then they read this article that there was canvassing and a team of 100 people working on Jussie Smollett. But the thing is, no, that's what it's just because it's publicized. This is a routine kind of thing. You see it all the time. You watch other shows. You watch documentaries. You watch. Bunch of people. You have the detectives and they go through the details. They try to figure something out. They go door to door, and of course they're not working by themselves. They're not going to hit every single thing, but they're trying to solve a crime. So available people are going to help out and knock on other doors and see if check all the cameras that are around. And someone in this article, if I could find it again, was talking about how I guess their son was murdered and it's an unsolved crime. Now the difference is if the difference is if witnesses don't come out, or if people are afraid, it makes it a lot harder. This Smollett guy, he sucked. He fucked it up. He was not very good at it. Writing the checks, wanting to be on camera because he wanted to look like a victim. So that's why he got caught so quickly. It was easy because he was trying to be caught on camera, and and um, and it kind of, he left such a trail that it was ridiculous, that it was just easy to find him, or to find that he was kind of well, again, I'm not going to say he's guilty. That is, that's up to, it's the problem with the world today, is that, now it is, guilty until proven innocent, rather than innocent until proven guilty. And of course, the article is gone. But yeah. In the article, it was talking about how this father was talking about how his son's murderer, who got shot, I think it was in somewhere a little secluded, like in an alley or something, or just, and there was no, and I think it's a cold case now, or it's an unsolved murder right now, and he's kind of one of these guys saying, like, oh, how come they caught him so quickly, and how come there's so many men working on this crime, and no one can solve my son's murder. I mean, again, just because it's publicized and it says, and maybe it sounds like a lot. Like, oh, there's 100 men working on this one jerk's case. How come my son's murder? It wasn't only that. It was, they were canvassing. They were looking at cameras. They were wanting to be, receipts that they came across and cell phone records. It wasn't hard. It was not hard. And even when I read the story and when it officially happened, does that sound right? No. I kind of thought there was something a little fishy about that. My biggest thing was that they yelled out that, yeah, you're in MAGA country. Sorry about that. And Chicago was kind of far from MAGA country. Let's just put it that way. So, I mean, Chicago gets a rap for crimes here and there. Some bad neighborhoods is a lot of shooting occurs in that kind of, in those areas. There's rarely, they're really, this isn't MAGA country, and like in Boys Town area, it's one of the biggest gay populations, probably in the country. And no one bats an eye at things like, barely does anyone raise an eye over color or sexual orientation or anything like that. Seriously, Chicago barely will, you'll barely get a side eye for being different, and if you do, it's probably because we like to keep to ourselves, off on a little bit of a tangent. Chicagoans kind of look like they don't want to talk to you, or and they'll be walking head down and just focused on trying to get somewhere. But if you stopped and said, excuse me, can you give me directions to wherever, they will go and spend 10 minutes giving you proper directions, and they'll kind of make sure that you're kind of going the right way. I mean, I used to, I'd be like all to myself and being like, and then someone will ask like, like, oh, do you know how to get to this thing? And I'll be like, yeah. You go down this box, and blah blah blah, turn left there, and boom, and and I'll keep an eye on them, making sure that they're kind of heading in the right direction, and making the proper turn on the block, So I mean, so the fact that so the fact that in downtown Chicago, someone was kind of throwing a noose around someone and yelling, "Hey, this is MAGA country." I mean, it's. I found that suspicious right off the bat. So yeah. So again, I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he had a moment of craziness, and I'll feel bad for him. But I gotta start remembering, innocent until proven guilty. R. Kelly's a different case because it's been documented and is kind of known that that's what he does. So, in that instance, it's kind of more of justice, I'd like to say. So, yeah. So when you hear stories of kind of go back a little bit. So when you hear stories of like this Alison Botha and what she went through, and then you get some asshole story about someone who tried to pull off a self-inflicted hate crime because he was unhappy with his money. The contrast is just what I don't know, like what's going on in the world, So yeah. How long have I been talking for? Okay, I think what I'm gonna wind this down a little bit. Like I said, again, I hope that you're having a nice conversation with me in your car. You can say whatever you want to with me. I'm not gonna respond because I am not there. But I hope this kind of puts some thoughts in your head and gives you something to listen to while you're driving in your car or wherever, or walking around with headphones on. Again, working on some quality here. We're working on some some different things. Hope I get some side money and then I can get a couple of mics or something. And I'll try to put somewhere or post somewhere some kind of maybe I'll do like an email that people can reach out if they want to want me to talk about something, and maybe be a guest. I'm not gonna stop anybody from wanting to be a guest. Just because like I say, everybody's got some kind of interesting story to tell, or if they're like an artist or something, they want to promote something, or they're coming into Chicago. So I would like to be, I'd like to be a part of that. It's just something I'm interested in people. I like to talk to people, and so yeah. I want to clear up. I do have a Twitter. I kind of want to clean that up and maybe start fresh and maybe make it more related to the podcast. And I'm gonna make a video out of this too, and it's gonna be up on YouTube as well. So yeah, I guess is that all I would like to say? Yeah. So in the coming weeks, look out for I'll tell you where to go to find my YouTube channel and get my Twitter straightened out, and I'll put that somewhere too, and then see where this goes. Again, I found myself talking for a very long time without realizing it. I'm hoping that I get better at this, and that that you'll stick around. So thank you again. I will stop talking right now. Keep your eyes on the road, and don't trip on anything. And I will talk to you guys soon. Thank you, and signing off. Or should I say who I am? Thank you again for stopping by the Nevahdren, and Rec 113 signing off. Yeah.